If you've got a general form for a quadratic equation and you'd like to move it into standard form, one way that you can do that is by completing the square. When we complete the square, here's what we'll do. First, group together the first two terms in a set of parentheses, skipping a little bit of space inside there. Leave the third term on the outside. Then take half of the middle coefficient and square it. That's what you'll put in the space that you skipped. Subtract whatever you've just added and then factor and combine. For the one we've got here, let's first group together the first two terms and skip a little bit of space, leaving the 5 on the outside. In that space, we'll fill it up with half of the middle term. Half of 6 is 3. Take 3 and square it, and it's a 9 that we'll add. Since we're squaring, this number is always added. If I've added 9, I've changed what the problem says unless I now subtract a 9 on the back. Let's factor and combine. Factoring in here is going to be easy because this is just a perfect square trinomial. I have squares on each end, a positive at the back, and an even in the middle. So the way that it'll factor is a binomial squared. Take the square root, the sign that is in the middle, and you can either do half of the middle term or the square root of the back. Then combining the numbers on the back, 5 minus 9 leaves me -4. When I've got standard form, it's easy to tell where the vertex of this parabola would be. The vertex is the opposite of what's inside the parentheses and the same as what's on the outside. This also tells us where the axis of symmetry is going to be, since the axis of symmetry is the vertical line through the vertex. Remember that a line has to be an equation, so I have to call it x equals -3. Let's try another. On this one, again, group together the first two terms, skipping a little bit of space and leaving the 3 on the outside. I'll fill up this space by doing half of the middle term. Half of this -4 is -2, but when you square it, again, it made a positive result. Since I've added 4, now I need to subtract 4. Let's factor the perfect square trinomial that we've created and combine the things on the outside. This one factors nicely, square root, sign that is in the middle, and either half of the middle term or the square root of the back. You can tell what the vertex is, opposite of what's inside, same as what's on the outside. And the axis of symmetry is the vertical line through a vertex of a parabola that either opens up or opens down. This one is opening up, so x equals 2 is the axis of symmetry. I can tell that that parabola opens up because it has a positive leading coefficient. When you need to get to standard form, either to find the vertex, write the equation, or find an axis of symmetry, all you've got to do is group together the first two terms, skipping a little bit of space. Take half of the middle term's coefficient and square it. Whatever you added needs to be subtracted, factor, and combine.